This is the GBN Luncheon News for today, Wednesday, April 15th, 2026. Coming up in the news, GCNA honors farmers for excellence and innovation, and Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority promotes sustainability through community events. Regionally, 37 election candidates to contest general elections in Antigua and Barbuda. Internationally, Trump says U.S.-Iran ceasefire talks could soon resume. And in sports, Grenada secures its first win in the women's qualifiers with comeback victory. The first segment comes to you compliments Bryden and Miners.
Before the digital age, before the world moved at the speed of a click, there was a signal connecting a nation. In 1986, a journey in broadcasting began in Grenada, a journey that would grow into a trusted voice across the country. For 40 years, through radio and television, we've been there for
I am Diedra Sealey with the details. The Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association has recognized several farmers for their outstanding contributions to the island's nutmeg industry during its Special Farmers Award ceremony. Among the awardees were Heslin Flanders and Avanella Patrick, named top young male and female farmers, while Joseph Granger and Joan Narayan were honored as the oldest farmers. Derek and Wilma Alexander captured the most innovative farmer title, with Cuthbert Purcell and Philbert Lewis placing second and third. Lewis also secured the 2025 Nutmeg Farmer of the Year award, and Craig Murray was named Most Outstanding Youth Farmer. Speaking at the event, Lennox Andrews encouraged farmers to adopt modern technologies to boost productivity and attract younger people to the sector. Awardees received plaques, certificates, and vouchers to support their farming efforts, as the association continues to promote innovation and sustainability within the industry. The Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority is ramping up efforts to promote environmental sustainability through upcoming community events. Waste separation will be a key focus at this year's Grenada Cooperative Bank Pump It Up Family Fun Walk, scheduled for May 3rd, with thousands expected to participate. Meanwhile, the Solid Waste Management Authority is also partnering with EcoDive to host an Earth Day marine and coastal cleanup on April 18th. Members of the public are encouraged to take part in activities including diving, snorkeling, and beach cleanups. Officials say both initiatives aim to increase awareness and encourage greater community involvement in protecting the environment. And finally, the Grenada Bureau of Standards is advising the public of a recall affecting Morovan Gel Nail Polish Remover. The product was found to contain methylene chloride and chloroform, substances that pose potential health risks. Officials say methylene chloride is a prohibited ingredient in cosmetics and has been linked to cancer in some animal studies. The item, manufactured in China, was sold online between August 25th and January 2026. Consumers who have the product are being urged to stop using it immediately. That concludes our first segment. Stay with us for regional news. The second segment comes to you compliments Fortune Foods Limited.
Hey everyone, here is an invitation to join me this and every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on GBN Television 711 K105 FM, our Facebook page and YouTube channel for Kaiso Talk. Meet the Kaisonians, hear their stories, feel the vibes. Kaiso Talk, Wednesdays 8:30 p.m. Compliments for Grenville Credit Union.
international news, 37 election candidates to contest the polls in Antigua and Barbuda. More details in this OCM report.
37 the old ones. The number comes from within the first 13 days of the month of April. Many are said to be scrambling now to complete the process ahead of the election. Public Relations Officer of the Antigua-Barbuda Electoral Commission, Alicia Graham, is pleading with members of the public to collect their cards.
Coming up to collect these cards. We would have issued a notice like approximately 2 or 3 times last week to indicate to persons if you would have replaced your card between the period of March 23rd to March 28th to come out to collect those cards. Our registration personnel are still having some challenges with persons coming forward to collect their cards. Persons are saying, okay, they can collect that later, hold it for me, you keep it safe. However, at the end of the day, we want to emphasize to persons that you cannot vote unless you have your voter's ID.
Prime Minister Gaston Brown called the election 2 years ahead of the scheduled time. The United States Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago has released an updated travel advisory. The advisory says Trinidad and Tobago remains at level 3 when it comes to crime. This means Americans are being told they should reconsider traveling to the Twin Island Republic. The United States Department of State has also removed the kidnapping indicator. The advisory notes that although violent crime in the country has dropped significantly since 2024, crime remains a challenge throughout the country. It notes the risk of terrorist violence, including terrorist attacks, in Trinidad and Tobago. The advisory also highlights increased caution in rural areas due to health risks. And the opposition People's National Party in Jamaica is slamming the government of Prime Minister Andrew Holness for what it sees as its failings in Melissa recovery efforts. Leader of the opposition Mark Golding yesterday said there are terrible gaps.
The government's primary program for addressing the shelter crisis occasioned by Hurricane Melissa, the roofs program, is hopelessly inadequate and is being incompetently administered. We have heard from the MPs the horror stories of those who were promised and have not received any support or the support that they were promised. The difficulties of access, the lack of comprehensive coverage of people who are in desperate need of help.
Mr. Golding said many families are still struggling to get back on their feet post-Hurricane Melissa.
Tens of thousands of Jamaican families are living in a post-Melissa environment where they lack habitable shelter in which they can rebuild their lives. This is a deplorable situation which ought to be the focus and priority of the government at this time.
The PNP called a news conference yesterday, and MPs in some communities were able to give details of the suffering of members of the public.
The second segment came to you compliments Fortune Foods Limited. International news and sports are up next. In international news, President Donald Trump said talks with Iran to end the war could soon resume and end in a deal. Meanwhile, U.S. forces imposing a blockade turned back vessels leaving Iranian ports. More details in this France 24 report.
Is this war over?
I think it's close to over, yeah. I view it as very close to over. I think they want to make a deal very badly.
An optimistic tone from the U.S. president as a ceasefire agreement with Iran remains in effect. While the Islamic Republic has remained tight-lipped as back-channel talks for the next round of discussions are underway, the Trump administration is eager to demonstrate how it will ensure Tehran never attains a nuclear weapon.
The ceasefire is holding, and what you're seeing is what the president wants to make, he doesn't want to make like a small deal. He wants to make the grand bargain. And what he's basically offering to Iran is very simple, and frankly, it's something that no president has had the ability to offer. He said that if you're willing to act like a normal country, we are willing to treat you economically like a normal country.
With Iran and the United States due to resume talks to permanently end the war in the coming days, Washington is using its blockade of the Strait of Hormuz to pressure the Islamic Republic. The U.S. Army says it's completely halted trade going in and out of Iran by sea. Meanwhile, Pakistan, which is mediating talks, says progress is being made to close existing gaps, placing a permanent truce within reach. However, Israel's continued military operation in Lebanon could complicate a peace deal between the United States and Iran from sticking.
In Peru, the presidential vote count entered its third day with Keiko Fujimori leading at around 16.8% and a tight race behind her among candidates, including former Lima Mayor Rafael Lopez Aliaga. More details in this Reuters report.
Frustration mounted in Peru as vote counting stretched into a third day on Tuesday, leaving voters uncertain over who will face Keiko Fujimori in a presidential runoff. Fujimori, in her fourth attempt at the presidency, remains in first place with about 16.8% of the vote and roughly 80% of ballots counted, according to the official tally. So far, no candidate has come close to the 50% needed to win outright, meaning that a runoff is expected in June. There is a tight race behind Fujimori. Former Lima Mayor Rafael Lopez Aliaga is in second place, with center-left candidate Jorge Nieto and left-wing Congressman Roberto Sanchez just behind. As counting has continued, allegations of fraud have circulated. Lopez Aliaga has sharply criticized the process.
Members of the National Jury of Elections, we are giving you a deadline. You have 24 hours to declare this garbage null and void. And we're going to wait for the results. And even if they favor us, we're going to call for new elections.
He also lashed out at international observers.
To those missions from the European Union and the OAS that have come to Peru, get out of Peru once and for all.
The head of the European Union's election observation mission to Peru, Analisa Corrado, said that they had found no concrete evidence to support the fraud claims that have circulated since voting day. Piero Corvetto, head of Peru's electoral authority, denied that any serious irregularities had occurred and apologized for the delays, attributing them to an error in the distribution of voting materials. That as the country's political instability continues to weigh on public confidence in the electoral process.
That's it for international news. Sports is up next. Grenada's senior women's national team delivered a strong comeback performance to defeat the Cayman Islands 3-1 in their CONCACAF Women's Qualifiers Group C clash at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. The visitors struck early, taking the lead in the 4th minute, but Grenada responded with determination. Raquel Mitchell brought the hosts level just before halftime, heading home in stoppage time to make it 1-1. Grenada took control in the second half with Nia Fleming-Thompson putting the team ahead in the 62nd minute. Substitute Alexis Hippolyte then sealed the victory with a late goal in the 88th minute, continuing her impressive scoring form. The result marks Grenada's first win in Group C as the team now looks ahead to building momentum in their upcoming fixture against Bermuda. Also in football, the Grenada Football Association has hosted a comprehensive club development workshop to strengthen the capacity of local football clubs. Held at the GFA Secretariat, the initiative focused on equipping clubs with professional tools, operational frameworks, and sustainable strategies to elevate the standard of football. The workshop was facilitated by international sports development experts Kareem Ray of One Soccer Nation and Gregory Scott Jr. of GCS Development, who shared insights on modern club management, infrastructure, and long-term growth. The GFA says the initiative forms part of its ongoing efforts to build a stronger football environment by bridging the gap between grassroots passion and professional execution. And now for a recap of today's headlines. GCNA honors farmers for excellence and innovation. And Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority promotes sustainability through community events. Regionally, 37 election candidates to contest general elections in Antigua and Barbuda. Internationally, Trump says U.S.-Iran ceasefire talks could soon resume. And in sports, Grenada secures its first win in the women's qualifiers with a comeback victory. On behalf of the entire news team, I am Diedra Sealey, thanking you for joining us.